if you've been in business for long enough, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you deal with a difficult person. And if you're doing your marketing fantastic, hopefully this isn't something that you have to deal with often. If you have a solid contract and you're educating your clients well, hopefully this isn't something that you have to deal with often. But the chances are you're going to have a difficult client request at some point. So I want to discuss today how to handle difficult client requests. And first and foremost, I have to recommend one of the best books I've ever read aside from the Bible is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I've read this several times, and I am not the type of person to read a book more than once. I've read this 3 times now. It is excellent. Must read at the top of your list. I think everybody should be required to read this book. If you have a difficult client request, and it could be what they're asking is difficult, more likely than not, it's going to be them or the way that they're asking it that is difficult. I say take 24 hours and cool down. It is really hard as entrepreneurs to separate us personally from our business. But if you are emotionally tied to whatever their request is, I think you have to take a day and breathe and calm down. I don't think there is anything advantageous that can come from being heated in the moment. So take the time that you need to cool down and to calm down. And if you need to vent it out in a very safe place, make sure it's a very, very safe place to vent. But vent. And even if it's just writing a letter that you're just going to rip up, even if it's calling your mama and yelling at her through the phone and then breathing. But take the time that you need to bring it all down and to be sane and to be in a good headspace and to be in a place where you can empathize and relate to them. So the biggest thing is not to take this personally, even if you personally are being attacked, even if it is you in question who is being attacked by your client. And another enormous thing is to understand that your client thinks that they're right. No matter how crazy you think they're being, no matter how unreasonable this request is, in their mind, they are right. And one of the most mind-blowing things about this book is that think of every bad person in the world, including Adolf Hitler, and he thought he was right. He thought he was doing the world a favor. He thought he was advancing the human race. In his own mind, he was a righteous, righteous man. He was not a bad person. And that is what just blew my mind into 1,000 pieces, is that when people come into arguments, just as you think you are correct, the other person thinks that they are correct. So it's extremely important to understand that your client thinks they're right. So now why does your client think they're right? You have to listen. That's the only thing. So get them on the phone, correspond with them over email, however it was that you received this request, go ahead and respond back to them once you're calm, cool, and collected. Repeat back what you heard them say. Ask them questions to clarify and draw it out even more, but you have to listen to them. A, they're going to feel better by talking about it, and B, you need a thorough understanding about why your client thinks that they are right so that you can seriously put yourself in their shoes and understand things from their perspective. Mirror what they say. So if you're in a very difficult situation, I recommend looking into a lot of different negotiation tactics, but mirroring is a fantastic one so that people feel like they are being heard accurate. If they say, I feel such and such, your next sentence starts with, you said you feel such and such. How does blah, 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 right? So mirroring what they say is repeating it back to them so that you, A, heard it correctly, B, they know that you heard it correctly, and you can just keep going in the conversation. I think that then it's important to collaborate to come to a fair conclusion. So make it seem like it's their idea, meet them in the middle, or honestly meet them on their side of the road. I think it's very important for everybody to leave the conversation letting your client make them feel like they're the winner, okay? Make them feel like they're the winner. Make them feel like they came up with the decision themselves, and make sure that they feel like they were heard, like you accommodated them, and like they won whatever power trip that they were on. I think that's really important. So those are my tips for handling a difficult client request. Again, I cannot recommend this highly enough. And if you need more help, go and look into different negotiation tactics to help you out there.